I often say that our ancestors built the sacred sites to put the knowledge in stone, and those sacred sites were destroyed. They also wrote books on deer hides and painted, ancient books. They were burnt. However, because we weave all these patterns in our textiles, and when we learn and memorize the patterns, we're told the stories that go along with them. That knowledge survived through textiles and the oral story. So it's the softest of all the materials that preserve the knowledge. And so as long as these stories are being told and shared, the knowledge will be alive. And as long as we're alive, we'll keep sharing those stories. So what we have here, we call this the Nawal Symbol, and it's the symbol that we get when we join our hands in this way. And all symbols are really, perfectly symmetrical and fractal-like. What you see here is the left and the right side of our bodies becoming one. That represents the left side of our awareness becoming one with the right side. The left side we call Nawal, which is the type of awareness that we use for our intuition, our gut feelings, and that's on the left side of our body. Not just like what scientists talk about, the left and the right side of the brain, but it's your entire body. Our ancestors discovered that we're not just skin and bone, but an energy field, which is the size of our arms, spread wide open. That looks like the magnetic field of the Earth, if you look at it, which is made of many filaments of energy. And every tradition has, some sort of understanding of this. So this energy field is split in half, and when we're born, our awareness is fixed on the left side, like right above our shoulders. But through society and all that, we start to develop habits and ways of thinking and seeing the world. And so our awareness is fixed onto a certain spot. And but when we dream, our awareness naturally moves around this energy field, allowing us to connect to other energy lines, that's how they call them, that are connected to plants or animals or ancestors or even the future. And so, based on that understanding, let me talk first about the other side. The right side is the tonal.
So that's
Yeah,
here.
yeah, the tonal. It's the type of awareness, kind of like that we use to create language and sound, because language is our first act of creation. When we are, even in English, if you spell a word, you're casting a spell on reality. So depending on what words you use, you shape the reality that you perceive. And
In the beginning was the word.
yes, yeah, in the beginning was word.
That's exactly what it meant.
All cultures have some kind of understanding of how sound is this primordial,
When we learned to be able to create a word, transmit it to another person so they could understand,
yeah,
then we started to communicate and connect.
yeah, yeah,
Then what happened?
and those sounds, are represented into this sacred geometry. All these patterns are fractal-like patterns. So, we have in our hands, like the Fibonacci, the golden ratio that you see in the growth of plants, in the twirl of water, in the sunflowers. It's everywhere. And what this pattern, is teaching us is that we live in this duality, and the key is to balance that duality. And Nawal is someone who can transport their or shift their awareness from the world of the spirit on the left to the world of logic, language, and the
Bring it in-
daylight,
and bring it into form.
and bring it into form. Yeah, literally consolidate those sounds into matter.
Oh my gosh, look who's here.
I wrote you an email about a month and a half ago, maybe 2. Hi.
You need to meet this man.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Brandy.
Nice to meet you, Brandon.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Record all of this.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep going. So basically, this is the symbol of the Nawal, which is the word we use for medicine man or medicine woman, because they can shift their awareness to the left side of their awareness, which is the spiritual side. So they can go to the world of the spirit and the world of dreams, and come back, at ease, and bring that medicine. I always put the example of Maria Sabina, Mazatec from Oaxaca.
Yeah.
And she did this
this
whole
person.
journey to become a medicine woman, but it was a lifetime journey. It's not like I did 2-week, shamanic course online or something. So when she was 7, her parents died, and she was kind of just scratching a living from the mountains, gathering wild foods. And that's when she felt the need to commune with the mushrooms, they were calling her. And she did that. Well, she went, through a life journey, but it wasn't until her late 40s, early 50s when she became a healer. And she'll take the mushrooms and and sometimes her patients couldn't, but she'll go with them on this journey and find out exactly where the source of illness was coming from, and then return, and she'll know exactly what plant, what part of the plant, in what quantity, or what ritual. Sometimes it was like get a cold shower from the well, before sunrise, and that's how they're able to just go through both worlds and find answers. And then what you have there too is a lot of these diamond patterns, which comes from the skin of the rattlesnake, and it's teaching us again about the balance of the 4 types of energy, the 4 elements that we could relate to the creation, fire, water, earth, and how the key is to balance both 4 energies, and that's also expressed in our bodies. The navel is the center that unifies the 4 awarenesses. So I talk about the left and the right side, and then from the navel and above we have the spiritual energy, organs like the heart, the brain, the pituitary gland, and we call it something else, but that's elevating our spirit towards the heavens. And then from the navel and below we have the snake energy that grounds us to the world and ensures survival. So our kidneys that are constantly cleaning our bodies, our reproductive organs, and our legs that ensure survival and the propagation of our genes. But as much as we're inheriting genes, we're inheriting emotions, stories, and teachings that are intangible. And so when we do that, we unite the bird and the snake, and then you get the feather snake, which it's known as Quetzalcoatl or Belgia.
Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah.
I can never say it. Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, and so it really boils down to living a path and a life of balance, and it's also 2 very opposite energies, that need to be balanced, like the bird and the snake, how they can become one, because it's in the human experience where heaven and earth meet.
Oh, brother.
Do you want to
good
hear?
stuff.
So, I have a painting of her in the saloon of Nissa, Yeah. And it was sitting up behind where Dirtwire was playing, and Carrie Thompson, a friend of ours, painted it. I'm going to show you tonight.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
And Dirtwire wanted that for their album cover, got a hold of Carrie, and the album that they wrote down here, mastered, that's the cover of her. She's on the cover.
Wow.
And so, I know, so many tie-ins. And years ago, Dennis McKenna came out
Yeah.
And him and Terrence McKenna,
Oh my
his
God.
brother, went, and that's who they worked with down in Mexico.
Yeah, no,
with the
they-
mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's
It's his
she opened
medicine.
up. She opened up.
It is what?
mushroom medicine.
It's
Medicine.
yeah,
Use it
No,
like
and so,
medicine.
and then
Yeah.
she had the vision of them bringing it to introduce it back into the
Yeah.
white culture.
yeah.
And so, yeah, he told the story of him down there. Like,
Nice.
this was
Can I-
years ago when
Can I
he came
use
to
a
the
better
ranch.
word for mushroom instead of medicine? Sacrament.
Yeah,
It's a sacrament.
yeah,
It really is.
yeah. All,
So, wow,
all
that-
plants.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You'll be excited to see. It's a beautiful painting of her.
Nice. That's so nice.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I know.
We're gonna drop down.
It's like perfect timing, you know.
Perfect. I'm gonna
well,
play my
great.
flute in a minute, and we're just gonna hang out.
Sweet.
I got to get these stories.
Yeah.
These need to
Well,
be, these need to be
I'm
recorded
excited for
and
you
shared.
to come and see the space and
Yeah, built above, you know, that's like what you see as a pyramid, but also under, you know, below it, you have the opposite, which is the shadow.
Is that representing the balance you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Hi.
a universal symbol, you know, that runs throughout the continent. We call this the fifth pointed cross, the cross of Quetzalcoatl.
And these are all handmade
Yeah, these are
by
all.
you and your family
Yes, yeah.
in Oaxaca.
We've carried, you know, the weaving tradition since the last ice age. When we arrived there, you know, making thumb lines with agave fibers. You strip it down and you already have, you know, like a needle and thread, and that evolved into very, you know, advanced and complex styles of weaving. Every village specializes in a different technique.
Do they use different symbols, or they're similar symbols?
No, they're part of a, you know, similar repertoire.
So lots
Yeah.
of different symbols from different tribes and cultures.
Yes, yeah. There is 17 different cultures in Oaxaca,
Yeah.
and we have different styles, and we all, you know, share similar symbols. And we use the same calendar system, the same numerical system. So, you know, this whole continent was one civilization that was working together.
Interesting. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Jaguar.
The Jaguar,
You know, I feel
this is from the Mayan culture, and it's the water lily jaguar. And there's a water lily plant growing from its head, and then there's water pouring out of its mouth. So it's in charge of governing the cycle of water. And because jaguars are really connected to the water and the wetlands, this water plant is also a sacrament that it's used to perceive the world, and you know.
It's a plant sacrament,
Yeah.
and that's the symbol right here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a water plant. I forget the name. Yeah, and the jaguar because you know, it represents the magnificence of a being that's you know, in very, very good connection with its environment, and it represents the strength of nature. You know, every governor had to trace his ancestry to a jaguar, and there were different jaguars governing, like, even the moon cycle and that. It's symbol that's really often used for the Nawal, because when you have that intuition, you know, when you tune into that intuition, you can really connect to nature and just flow with it.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and get that energy, and that's
And in all different ways. It's not just, you know, each person has their own perception of a way, right?
yeah.
So mine might be music,
Yeah.
it might be just walking out in nature, swimming in cold water like we did yesterday.
Yeah.
So many things
Yeah.
that just kind of gives you that little connection between the two worlds, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the importance of being out in nature and playing music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But now that I hear you talking about it, it's like the more things I find that can bring that, the more beautiful it is, right?
Absolutely.
So,
There's so
I
many
mean, we're
different
finding it
ways.
in drumming. I found it in nature first, probably.
Yeah.
Drumming has been definitely a big one
Yeah,
for
me
me.
too.
But
You and I have kind of been on that journey together.
yeah,
And
Yeah, and to take to whatever you do, to its magnificence, to like the Jaguar, everything it does is like so
Right,
magnificent and powerful. And
we just need to stop
Striving to
telling
it.
ourselves all of these things we can't do
yeah,
and open ourselves up to doing whatever we feel in our heart. It's like yesterday, I didn't know if I was feeling in my heart to get in that water.
yeah.
And I got in halfway, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, no, I'm going in.
yeah,
And I just ploshed into the water, and it felt so good. I come up and my whole body was
Live.
like a brain freeze, but it was my whole body.
Yeah.
It felt so good. You're alive, right?
yeah,
You encouraged me to do that, and I thank you, Zach.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey.
yeah. You just
So
I
dived
love
in.
being. Nature has been my greatest teacher, and I think it started young because, not having a mother around, that was kind of my literally mother,
Yeah.
and then finding Native Americans and all the natives called their Earth Mother, it just kind of made sense to me. So,
And that's that connection you're talking about, because it's the sun
Yeah,
going through us,
Yeah.
who is the bridge, and connecting to the earth.
yeah,
And we are the connection to all of that. We're the ones that now we can use words, like we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier,
Yeah.
to express what that is. But it's really more than words, because I start experiencing it and telling you how I experience it. Then you experience it and tell me how
Yeah.
you experience it.
Yeah.
Then we come into this understanding of, holy shit,
Well, that's why
you
we
can
it's just one
experience it in
thing.
everything.
you can experience it in
Yeah,
absolutely
in every moment.
everything.
That's why we have hundreds of patterns. And every pattern I explain, it boils down to the same principle. It's the yin and yang. You see also this pattern in like Mongolian weavings.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah, it's all over the world. It's just universal knowledge. It's
The medicine
built
wheel.
into us.
The medicine wheel is everywhere. It's in every culture. It's a circle, it's a symbol, and each one tells it their own way, and it's exactly the same story that you're talking about here. It's just
Yeah.
balance and living life.
Yeah,
As time passes, you go through different cycles, right? From childhood to adolescence, like Jack, moving into young adulthood, then adulthood,
yeah,
having children, going through all of that experience, and then moving into, hopefully, the wisdom of the elder years, which is, I'm entering into that, you're entering into that. And that's where we connect and look back on all the things that we experienced in life that we have to let go of.
yeah. We have a life cycle symbol. This is how it ends. It starts like this with a pattern that you get when you join your hands in this way, and then it curls like that, and that's when it flourishes. When it opens, it transforms. I don't have it here yet, but it's a 4-step pattern. You see it everywhere, and you have the growth stage of life, and every step represents 13 years. So that's to 52. Because every 13 years, there is a cycle that we finish, human growth. But mainly they say that 52 is when you need to turn back and look at your life's experiences, to process all that, all those experiences, which are not good or bad. They're just experiences that maybe we ourselves choose to experience,
I
before
totally
we
did.
were born. And that's what we're taught, that we come to this world just to gather experiences that are stored in our being, and we process all that. And when we die, we return to the great source, which in our stories happens to have the form of an eagle who's eating, those experiences and feeding from it. But it's just a metaphor of the universe that creates itself to know itself, this cycling of
Absolutely.
energy. Yeah.
Good stuff.
The snake that eats its own tail. That's another one that's in every culture. Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to go get a drink. All right, so I am here with my good friend Samuel.
Hello.
And this is my soon-to-be Mesa. And he's going to explain the weaving patterns. This was made by you?
No, this was made by my auntie, Antonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your aunt?
Yeah, my aunt.
Okay, beautiful.
And here on this weaving we have a diamond, a set of diamond patterns. So these little diamonds make a bigger diamond, which represents the eye of the feather snake, the eye of Quetzalcoatl, which is really a state of being in which we are balanced. They say that from the navel to our head we have the spiritual energy. Organs like the heart, the brain, the pituitary gland create thoughts and emotions that elevate our spirit towards the heavens and give us that experience. And from the navel and below we have our kidneys, our reproductive organs, and our legs that ground us to the earth and ensure survival. And the balance is meeting your earthly needs and achieving your spiritual pursuits. And then you have the left and the right side of your body, which hosts different types of energy. We call the left side the Nawal, and this is also like the moon and the sun, the feminine, the masculine. The left side is the awareness that we use for our dreams or intuitions that connects us to the earth. On the right side we have organs that produce language, logic, that allows us to understand the patterns of nature and our relationship to the cosmos. And so using these 4 types of awarenesses, we can see the world through this diamond, through this bigger diamond. And then wisdom and love comes to us, because it's just like a flower. When we're mature, when we're ready, wisdom and love will come naturally. And there's also here in the background, you see another bigger pattern. Sometimes it's referred to as like the moth, which is the wisdom that comes with night.
Is this the red part?
The red part.
Okay.
Yeah, with the dark, because we have to do our work in the daytime, but also in the nighttime. And part of that is remembering our dreams and mastering our awareness in the dream world.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It kind of matches my drum bag, so that's why I like the colors.
Yeah, I remember that. It's pretty much like that color scheme.
Yeah. So it's very close, and that's what's drawing me to it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my mesa table, where I'm going to put things to be determined. Let's see what that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of stones and other things that
you could put like one in each diamond to make a bigger diamond. Something in the middle.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
You bet. Thank you. Oh man, I wasn't recording.
Oh no.
What do you think?
Oh wow. This is gorgeous.
I thought it was.
Woo.
Look at the clouds. It just adds to it. Yeah. Air shower. I love it. Let's see. Air shower.
Oh, there's a mirror.